Yo, yo, delay. Hoo. Welcome to the JO podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Gore, aka JO. And all of my information is on JO.net, on YouTube, all of that good stuff, y'all. Um, man, 2020 just continues to be a roller coaster ride. And I don't know when it's gonna stop. Right now it's just like a constant free fall at Six Flags. It's just your balls just drop all the way, and once you hit that, that fall, they go all the way up to like your throat. That's how intense, 2020 has been. But I hope you're safe. I hope you're safe. I hope that, you're making good choices. I hope you're not, giving too much energy to the negative. I just really hope that you're, during this time, you're really developing yourself and trying to become the best that you can be. No sponsorship today, no ads or anything like that. So we're just going to get right to it. I don't want to make this too long of a podcast episode, but I do want to go over a lot of different news, things that are going on in the world that's important, things that you guys should know about, and maybe crack a couple of jokes here and there. Okay. So for beginner, or for the beginning of this podcast, there's a lot of this weekend there's been a lot of he say, she say type of stuff going on. And I'm not really a big fan of that kind of stuff. I'm more a fan of what's right and what's wrong. And there's nothing wrong with, being wrong in what you say, but there is something to people who are just gossipers. I think that gossiping is something that's one, it should just be left in high school, in the Degrassi days or what have you. Um, but it's a lot of gossip that's going on, and it's breaking up homes, it's breaking up families. It's really, striking a lot of different people in a very weird way. And these are grown people that are doing it. That's the issue that's occurring right now. So, for example, my guy Joe Budden, he is currently undergoing a lot of stress. I'm pretty sure the last episode sounded very. He didn't even really talk, and I could kind of feel where he's coming from. I will say this, as far as abusing women, I always put that into perspective that a lot of women who say that, I think that I want to say 80% of the time it really happens. If your man, your man, I'm using your man, not somebody that you're dating. I'm talking about an actual relationship. If you guys are, having this fight, having this argument, you just shove her onto the bed or whatever the case may be. Nothing else to that, but you just maybe a playful shove or whatever. Um, is that a form of abuse? If you obviously if you grab onto her arm too hard and leave a bruise on her, that's definitely a sign of abuse. Um, what if, you're and this sounds weird, but it really happens too, just from what I see online. But let's say you're at the beach or you're in the water or something, you right, and you're like, just kind of chilling with your girl, and like you grab her a little too hard and she bruises up. I don't want that to sound funny, but you know, what's where do we draw the line in that? Because a lot of women take that just from that swimming lesson and say like, oh, he hurt me, or something happened. Like it's people who bruise way too easily, and I'm not condoning it. I'm not vouching for anybody. I just want to know when the line is drawn. When a woman hits you, when a woman hits you as your girlfriend, um, should you hit her back? No, hell no. Grab her. What if you grab her a little too hard and she starts to have, a couple of bruises on her arm? Or what if you're trying to stop her from hitting you more, so you're grabbing her wrists, and then, she hurts you. You're grabbing a little too hard, and whose fault is that in there? Um, and that takes me to this one. It's the Joe Budden situation that I want to talk about, but definitely also that that No Jumper podcast. And just what I really feel on that subject as well. So for the Joe Budden situation, for those who don't know, his ex-girlfriend Tahiri claims that he abused her when they were in a relationship. Joe Budden responds back saying, "You actually abused me. I've been helping you out from, since after the breakup. You've done a show with me, blah, blah, blah." And it's one of those things where it had to have been a bitter breakup. But man, it's just, in that situation, that's when I'm like, all right, Joe is in the right on this one. I don't know what their life was like behind closed doors, but I just know how passionate he was in talking about that, and just, the accusations just didn't seem to be true. Cool. There's a lot of times where I heard that he was in altercations with, girlfriends from back then. Esther Baxter, for example. We haven't heard anything from people like Samaya Reese, and then we haven't heard those. So now we have his newest, girlfriend who they broke up. I thought it was all a part of Love and Hip Hop, but apparently they did break it off. It was his fiance, his recent fiance, Sin Santana, who is, the mother of Lexington Budden. They both share a kid together. Uh, and it's, she's the way her interview came about. What I got out of it was the fact that this audio was leaked. It was something that she had no knowledge of, or she didn't, maybe she sent it to a friend and the friend tried to expose it or something like that. Um, it's just really weird to me because what she was saying was, about the relationship, it's something that her and her family want to handle. What I got out of that was that I think Joe really loved her. I think that Sin isn't that violent type, like a Tahiri could, and the only reason I can back that up is because look how she treated Vado, on marriage boot camp. And they weren't even married or trying to work anything out. It was just going downhill. Uh, and you just see how much, I was a big fan of, I still am a big fan of the Joe Budden podcast, and just how before then how he would, talk about how much he loves her and things like that. So I didn't really see, I seen maybe he had a past life where he was drugged up a little too much, unaware of all the things that he did. And then, you know, he 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 changed his ways when Sin came along. Maybe she was that guardian angel that he's been looking for, let alone they have a kid together. Um, and she was defending here and there, but she wasn't denying a lot of a lot of what Joe was dealing with. So that makes me question, because I'm a fan of the Joe Budden podcast, uh, and it's because it's all four hosts that put on a hell of a show. I think that if one of them wants to do it by themselves, you won't get the same reaction, at least not from me. I think that all four of them, they're like the Avengers, where they all work best together. Uh, and they have a lot of hate going on, and it's funny how a lot of these accusations come up after, Joe is talking about leaving Spotify and all these kinds of things. So it's really weird just how much he's getting thrown under the bus for things that happened years ago, and two, these are things that we're not even, confident that it's actually happened, coming out of Tahiri's mouth or whatnot. I will tell you this though, if Joe is this person who does abuse women, and it doesn't matter whether he's on drugs or not. If this is something that's true, if this is something that, fuck all the texts and, the audio and everything like that. Those are threats, right? I mean, let's be real. Those are what Joe was saying in the audio was a threat. And I personally don't think if you're comparing that to actual physical abuse, I think that threats are a lot safer than it actually happening, right? There's been times in the past where when I was in a relationship, and or when I was in a relationship with my first girlfriend, and I would say all sorts of, foul shit to her, and she'll say stuff back to me, but it was never anything that involved hands. It didn't involve hands. It just involved yelling, talking shit, if you would. And the thing with a lot of people who go through these emotions, because we're not robots, is you say whatever you feel, and you guys just, brush it off, take a deep breath, maybe smoke a joint after, and then go back to normal. But never have it to where somebody's bruised and bloody, and you know, and that's how you cope, and that's how you guys end the discussion. That's not fair to the woman because a lot of men are stronger than women, and I don't think that that's definitely not right, right? It's obvious that's not right for a man to hit a woman or for a woman to hit a man. Let's be real. Like that has to be a thing too, to where we're not glorifying that. We're not glorifying things that could rile up a man because men could get this is a world where men have to deal with, yes, women have to deal with their own thing. Men have to deal with a lot of stress and things that aren't fair as well. Whether it's trying to get a new job or whatever have you, so it's definitely, a 50-50 when it comes to equality in the relationship. And I think that if you're, talking shit about your boyfriend and talking about how much of a, degenerate he is or how, then why don't you just break up with him? Like, why continue to beat a dead horse and then let alone putting your hands on him? A lot of men react in different ways. Some would just, grab you up and maybe just, I don't know, again, throw you on the bed or something that's not harmful. It's just, goddamn, bitch, you keep on hitting me. I got to do something so you're not hitting me still. And then there's men that strike. We've seen the movie Baby Boy. We've seen all those things where men strike back. And then the woman just looks shocked, like, I can't believe you did this to me. And in their mind, in the man's mind, it was completely valid as to why he hit you. And I'm not condoning any of these things. Again, this is something that it should just be a verbal argument. It shouldn't lead to anything else. Talk your shit, lash all out however you want to, and that's it. But if Joe is this kind of person that is physically abusing women, he's gonna lose a fan base from me for sure. Uh, and that's when the empire just goes down. I just the distastefulness for me is after this Spotify situation, like because he was saying F Spotify and yada yada yada. Now it's like why is this now coming to the surface? So prayers up for him, man. I just want it to be where it's fair. It's fair and it makes sense because this guy's doing his own thing. He has his own network. He's really making things happen. Um, and that's not right for companies, if companies are doing this, or if just haters and jealous people are doing this. That's so low for them to do it and kick the man down while he's already down. You know what I'm saying? And this is not to compare the two, but that was the same thing for the Suge Knight situation. Once Suge Knight started, after he was getting knocked out a few times and, he was doing all these things, going in and out of jail and prison, like people were really like aiming at him to bring him down, and that's not right. Do that to the people like Bill Cosby, like Harvey Weinstein, like R. Kelly, which we'll talk about later. Do it with those kind of people, but because they're evil people with evil intentions. But when you're trying to kick a man while he's already down, and bring up these accusations and bring aboard all these women who are in relationships, things like that, it just makes it messy. And I don't like that, messy sells, because I don't like it, but there could be 100 other people that do. And that's all they need. It's just that whole thing where if everybody adds $100 to this mess and 100 people do it, that's fucking, I'm not really good at math, but that's $10,000, I believe. Right? Let me not be stupid on the podcast and actually, but you get my drift. Is that it's a lot of people. Yeah, 10,000. I don't know why I thought 1,000, but that's silly of me. I didn't graduate high school, y'all. I got my GED and continued to explore the rest of the world. So prayers up for Joe. Again, if that stuff is really true, you already know he lost a fan, and you should just know that if you have that deep in your heart, one, he lied to the fans if that's true. Um, but I think that it's distasteful when people do that while he's leaving a Spotify deal, in hopes that he doesn't get another deal. That's really low, and that's very sickening for people who've actually shared a relationship with him to want to do something like that. I have my things with Charlemagne the God, who I'm proud of for having this Black Effects network on iHeartRadio, and it's a podcast network where it's just the things that Black people do that affect the culture, affect the world. I'm proud of him for doing that. I'm proud of him. But the things that he says about, and it's just jabs that he's taking at Joe, when I see those things, it's just like, come on, dude, like you don't have to be like that. But I get it. They have their little tit for tat. They have their little range. But Charlemagne is also a dude who's kicking him down, who's kicking the man while he's down, and that's not fun, especially if you're doing that. Who knows though? Maybe Joe might be on the Black Effect Network, or we'll see how this goes. Because Charlemagne will do a show or will put together something, and then you never hear from it years later, or a year later, or a month later. So if this is something that he's really doing, I wish the best for him. Um, I just don't want him to try to be the hot shit and then ends up going wrong, because it's happened plenty of times. But congratulations, Black Effect Network on iHeartRadio. Should be dope. Let's see. Let's talk about Chief Keef's baby moms. Uh, this one was distasteful too. Uh, let me kind of dig. When I talked about, when I gave everybody that lecture about how I went from doing radio in 2009 to now doing podcasting and things like that, just bringing up my journey into podcasting. Um, I would be a liar when I say that coming back into the podcast world, some of the people I didn't look up to was Adam 22. I looked up to the guy at one point. And I think it was when he was bald. I think ever since he got his hair, it's that Mr. Hot Shit kind of personality. But it's cool, because it's one of those things where you're doing your thing, you got a huge support system. Why not? You know? Um, I'll tell you one thing I like about him. One thing I like about No Jumper and Adam 22. Uh, it's the way he interviews people, and I don't like to compare it to the Joe Rogan effect, but I definitely do like to. He keeps the conversation going and it becomes fun. He's fun, he's brash at times, especially towards women. Selena Powell, for example, some of the porn stars, whatever. Um, he's that kind of person that definitely brings that energy and makes you want to be interviewed by him. He's a fun guy to be interviewed by. Um, and so I could see where the longevity goes in that. I could see why people like a lot of the people that he's interviewed, XXX Tentacion, back then. I could see Theo Von, why he was on there. Um, who else? I mean, it's a long Alexis Texas, the adult film star. Like, I could see why a lot of people are on there, even rappers. I believe Jadakiss was on there, or The Lox was on there. TK Kirkland, the comedian, he was on there. So he has this huge base, and it's a vibe that you get being on his show. What I don't like about it is the messiness. Um, and with being a fun interviewer, with being a fun host, comes the messy shit, right? And I think that he holds on to that. I think that he really grasps that and embraces just the drama and the things that come out of these people's mouths. And just, I mean, I know what it's like to just try to interview anybody, anybody who wants to come on the show, just have them hop on. I know that. I know what that's like. I was interviewing adult film stars, I was interviewing, independent rappers and signed rappers, of course. So it's like having that. Um, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, if you ever been at a rave party, right, where it's just like all sorts of different people from all places of the world, right, or even better yet, like Coachella, right, where it's just all people and from different parts of the world going to this one specific event that goes on for a weekend straight. Um, and then you realize just, when you get to meet certain people, like the energy, it's you pick and choose what kind of energy you want to be around. If you want to be around the people who are, into, I don't know, Justin Bieber, let's say. If you want to have these people who are into, NLE Choppa, like all these people who are supporting these certain rappers or musicians who are performing at Coachella, you revolve yourself around them and have those kind of conversations or what have you. But it's It's where you can dibble and dabble in each one because everybody's so nice. If you've ever been to Coachella, everybody's so chill and nice and cool, doing drugs, whatever the case may be. Um, and that's what makes the environment fun. And then you get shit like a herpes outbreak. You know what I mean? That happened, I think, last year, where, it's just because you've been infested with so much and dibble and dabbling in drugs, sharing drugs, whatever the case may be. Now this happens, and that's just a simple metaphor that just like Adam's show, No Jumper, can be messy. And when it does, you have people like Selena Powell and whatever the other chick's name is, who says she like did stuff with seven other NBA stars at the same time. Um, so you have people like those. And the thing that he did was he seen how it was before when Selena was talking about Tory Lanez and all this shit to, them having these two girls having their own show as I guess you could say like a segment for the No Jumper podcast, you know? And that's something that for somebody like him, that's a downgrade. For somebody of his status, for somebody of his credibility, because he is credible, right? I mean, he's a white dude who interviews rappers and does these kind of things. Yeah, we get it, but he is credible. Um, for you to have this, that's a downgrade on your platform. And I don't know how these girls got to do the podcast. I don't care. I think that they should just do their own thing at their own location. And it's not even an interesting podcast either. Like I was listening to it and everybody was talking over each other and it was like as if they were all not maybe not all of them, but like two out of three were coked up and just saying whatever, and just exposing people. They did that with Odell Beckham. They exposed him. They said that he, likes for girls to take a dump on him. They were saying that just all sorts of stuff that is just not fun and it's not an interesting conversation. If somebody like Adam, he should put a lid on that and be like, yo, 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 like y'all got to chill out. This is my shit. Because now, and I say that because now you have these Twitter heads and all these people who probably don't listen to the No Jumper podcast. They just see a white dude interviewing rappers and black people, and they're going saying that they're that Adam is giving these hoes a platform and all this yada yada yada, and that's clearly the case, and I don't want to go as far as like saying that he reaches for black artists and stuff like that. I think everybody, every white personality, white public figure who interviews people, they dwell over to, they definitely rely on a lot of black artists, a lot of black talent. You see Nardwire, you see Just Incredible and his host, DJ Sour Milk, I think. But those guys at Power 106, you see, all these, if anybody besides Big Boy, Breakfast Club, uh, that's about it, right? Ebro in the morning. Like I'm just talking radio shit, but still, like there's not a lot of people who are black or who are any shade darker that are interviewing these people. Um, and not a lot. Now there's underground people. There's people like DJ Ghost who does his thing. He's more of like a podcast guy slash vlogger. You have this other dude. He's pretty funny as well. He reminds me of like a hood Eric Andre kind of. But you have people like that who actually do interview, like people like Post Malone and people like Tyler the Creator, all these different celebrities. So you do have them, but there's not that many. And right now, because black culture is so fucking amazing and it's always been, now that people are really starting to realize it, a lot of the hosts are starting to go to those different kind of artists, you know? So it's one of those things where somebody like his credibility just should not bring these two girls on board who are doing nothing but exposing. It's literally like Superhead and Cat Stacks have a podcast together, and that doesn't make it fun. And I don't think, I mean, it has a couple of views now, but you read the comments, people are only on there to talk shit about it mostly, you know. Um, and so it's just distasteful. And the only reason it has views is because people want to say something about it. Uh, I don't think that they'll gain a huge fan base on it. I don't think that people will look up to them. And that's something that I don't understand why people don't want to have. Why don't you want people to look up to you? But fuck it, it is what it is, and I have no control over that. But Adam, that's trash for bringing these two women on board. You should get rid of them, make them do their own thing, show them how to do it, but keep them away because you have Chief Keef's baby mama, who that's the one that exposed Odell Beckham about him liking to eat dump. They're calling him Odudu Beckham. Uh, they're calling him two guys, one Beck. Two guys, one Odell. Um, just distasteful stuff. And it's just nothing that, yeah, they just talk about just have you ever fucked. This girl's talking about she'll do whatever to get a hold of Drake, to be able to fuck. It's just distasteful, man. And it's something that it's just kind of like, come on, bro. Like we don't really need that. That's it's not a fun podcast to have, you know. And for such the crazy thing is like for such beautiful women who obviously do get around like that, it's like why would you want to? And you have one of them has a kid, two of them has a kid, and they're like, why would you want to? I don't get why they would want to do that. The kid's gonna see this years later because the internet is not taking away anything anytime soon. So y'all lost, and that podcast is trash. So moving on from that, Adam 22, don't do that again. Bring on different people, it was good when him and Dame Dash were on, when they had their own thing. And then once Dame Dash left, it's like Adam just went. It's kind of like he went down in a fucking frenzy. Like it was just like anybody else can take control of his shit now. And I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if some hood niggas got a hold of him and told him what they wanted from him. The LA code, it's really different out here. Sometimes sometimes it's a little rigged over here. So I don't know what happened, but yeah, man, that's trash. Um, let's see, what other news do we have? I mean, it's a lot of things to talk about. There's definitely these fires going on in Northern California. You guys hold your heads up out there right now. The clouds, it's just really eerie the way the clouds look right now. You have a lot of it's just really cloudy. It looks borderline red, going out there, but I don't know, man. Joe Rogan, he moved to Austin, Texas, which is pretty dope. Good investment for him. LA, I don't know where LA is going, but man, everybody can do everything on the internet, so it doesn't matter where you are. And for somebody like him, he can fly here on a private jet. See, man, Adam interviewed Benny the Butcher, so it's like you have all these different people, man. Don't bring these trash ass girls on there, you know. Um, let's see. Tory Lanez apologized to Meg Thee Stallion, saying that he was drunk. Texted her that some weird reason. He still has yet to come up and mention it to the to everybody. So I don't know what his motive is, but he's losing a lot of respect, and it just keeps on going more and more downhill. Uh, yeah, man, I don't know what to say about that. Kanye West was on Nick Cannon's class, an interview with Nick Cannon. I want to watch that, but man, Kanye takes me on a roller coaster. Like his mind just belongs to beats and to style. For him talking, it's like he wants to be smart and sound smart. Not saying that he's not. I think Kanye is a genius. I think it's those people that are intellectually not really there. And I know that because I think I'm still not there. I think I take these people on flower journeys every time I talk because I'm so flowery with how I talk. And I think Kanye is me, but somebody who's held in so much for so long to where it's like you don't have therapy times where you can just talk and it makes it until it starts making sense. Um, I will check it out though. I will say that because I do appreciate Kanye. He's always 50-50 with me because he'll do some shit, then do another thing. And I don't know. But having an interview with Nick Cannon, because Nick Cannon, again, one of those people who brings that energy from people, he's a good person to have uh, on a podcast. So I'll check it out and get back to you guys on that. 6ix9ine had an interview. He has an interview with Logan Paul. I'm also gonna check out and let you guys know. Um, 6ix9ine, his I heard his record sales are trash. You know, if there's anything of 6ix9ine that I would like to have, it's just his confidence. Like this dude can be down to the last penny in his pocket, and he'll figure out a way to just make it seem like he got $1 million still. Um, and that's golden, man. That's golden. I also want to check out this Lil Wayne music video, Big Worm. Lil Wayne, who I truly adore, and I'm glad that he's coming out with music. I can't wait till he shaves his hair. You know, uh, God damn. And that's the thing is like I don't want him to cut his hair, and I don't, and he definitely doesn't want to. But it's just like what comes after that? Because I think even the Hot Boys days he had braids, so it's like we can't see Lil Wayne with waves. You know what I'm saying? We got to see him at least. We got to see him with the baldy. But even still, it's gonna look weird. You know what I mean? Um, God, I hope my guy didn't just smoke away all his dreads. But shout out to Lil Wayne. I'll check out that video and get back to you guys on that. I think that is it, you guys. It's a lot of stuff on the media, a lot of stuff on the internet now to check out, especially on YouTube. They have this thing that if you were a Sons of Anarchy fan, one of the characters who played the character of Juice, Theo Rossi, and Kim Coates, who played Tigger, they go in and talk about the backstory of some of the certain episodes. So that's pretty interesting to check out. And yeah, a lot of different things. Oh yeah, Cardi B and Candace, they went at it over this WAP music video, which I still don't get. I mean, I get we're in a PG era, but WAP, man, Trina would not survive with the music that she had. Lil Kim, the song that she did with 50 Cent, Magic Stick, would not survive in this time. It's like people are like, oh my gosh, she does that. Oh my, like just because this shit dry. No, I'm just playing. Um, but I don't know, man. That seems like a very well, it was an interesting argument. It was just to me, it was just pointless. And Candace is the one that likes to spark the fire. You know, she likes to shit on a lot of people of color and their antics. Some people do need to be shitted on, no matter what color they are. I don't think this music video should. Um, and honestly, I think Meg should have been there to. I wish she was there to speak with Candace. I think that conversation would have been a little better. Uh, Cardi does hold her ground, but it's just so much that you could take in, before she snaps. And that's no disrespect. Um, I think that with Meg, you know, and this is something that I don't want to take away from anybody and how they live their life. Uh, Meg the Stallion, she started off doing her thing same way as Cardi B. Cardi B just had a stripper background, so that's a little bit more fuel to the fire. That's a little more of a reason for Candace to say the things that she was saying. With Meg the Stallion, somebody who was educated, who has a pretty decent background, um, that would have been a more interesting debate. Because Meg the Stallion, she's as freaky as Cardi B, but they have two different backgrounds. And I think they're successful in their own way. I want to see that more than I would see Cardi and Candace. Cardi is there for moral support, but it's really hard to hold your ground in a political environment, an educated environment, if you don't have that. And I don't have that shit. I didn't graduate. You know what I'm saying? I didn't become a male stripper, but I didn't graduate, so I can't even have a perfect debate to WAP, you know. But I'm a dude too, you know what I'm saying? I can't even talk about, I don't even know. I don't even know like the male version of WAP. People are coming up with all these different things, but whatever. Um, but anyways, man, yeah, that's about it. I just want to end this podcast on a good note. Shout out to Cardi, shout out to Megan Stallion. Hope you're feeling better. And shout out to you guys, man. Shout out to everybody doing their thing and not really relying on clout chasing and cap to affect their careers because this is all temporary, right? We're seeing a lot of these people crash and burn. Takashi 6ix9ine, for example, all the things that he does, he just sucked the life out of his fans. Um, And I think that the labels who took a gamble on him are losing a lot of money. And when labels and all these rich people who are in Takashi's pocket lose money, I don't think it's gonna be so good for him. So the thing with karma is it does take patience, but it actually happens. And when it does, it's as if you're going to hell and back. As always, I wish the best for as many people that aren't doing harm in the world. But man, just don't be surprised as to what comes for you, what happens to you. I've dealt with karma. I still deal with karma. And so if people aren't taking accountability for their stuff, you lost, man. But that's it. This is the JO podcast. I'm your host, Jordan Gore, and I will still your ears next week. Mwah! Mwah, 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 mwah.